Hello, world. It's me, Dennis. Today, my guest on Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation is the multi-hyphenate actor, writer, producer, Lauren Elizabeth Harris. And we began by talking about the challenges of being a working actor. Take it away, Lauren.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and have this conversation. Acting is such a tough profession. And, people know that acting comes with a lot of rejection. I think sometimes people think that actors are, people who don't have hard work ethic, or they're just people who love to just be on stage. But I mean, pursuing an acting career is one of the toughest things that you can possibly do. And I'm a very sensitive person. And when I first started being an actor, I wasn't attuned to the business side of being an actor. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I really had to become an entrepreneur before I saw my acting side start to really kick off. I had to develop a bit of a thick skin and also just figure out who am I aside from being an actor, because I know that acting is important to me and that's something that I want to pursue for the rest of my life, but that's not all of me. And I think that that's an important thing. Like, how do you define yourself when you aren't getting that phone call all the time? Because that's most of the time for actors.
So, developing a healthy lifestyle in order to deal with those times in between is vital, right? Talk about what you use.
I think therapy is super important. I've been in therapy for a very long time, but aside from therapy, I also believe in meditation. I believe in journaling, because for me, doing those two things first thing in the morning really helps me to get any negative thoughts I have out onto paper and outside of my head. I think that's super useful. And then honestly, like taking my career into my own hands. I'm at Columbia right now in their MFA producing program because I really wanted to get even further knowledge when I was starting my production company on exactly what do I have to do to be an effective producer, to start creating my own work as an actor. And honestly, by doing those things and having more control over my career, it was huge in helping me get to where I am.
Lauren, my profound belief is that we need women to stand up and to take leadership positions, especially in such highly visible professions as entertainment. And as a feminist, I am all in.
No, absolutely. And I love that you describe yourself as a feminist, because I think that that's very important for men to be doing as well. I think that that's, where it all starts. And I agree with you completely. I think the most possible diverse voices that you can have at any table is just going to make whatever you're doing so much better, because, I can only know so much, but others' voices on anything just makes whatever you're doing that much better. So I think as adding in as many colors as possible to whatever you're working on is vital.
So, in your work now, you're not just sitting around waiting for the telephone to ring. You created your own production company, right? Tell me more.
I have my own production company. It's called Pathway Pictures. And basically, what we're doing is trying to create more voices on screen, trying to create more representation, and showing people that one thing that I really struggled with when I first entered the industry is that there's not really a playbook on how do you become successful in the entertainment industry. Nobody's holding your hand, nobody's walking you through it. And I wanted to provide people more access to being able to see how you do it. So that's something that I'm really working on through my production company. And yes, I'm writing in it. I'm also producing and developing. Right now, we have 5 features in development, one actually with Sassy Moen that we're really excited about, which is sort of a similar theme to How to Hack Birth Control, but taking it a new direction. So yeah, the projects that we're doing are primarily female-led, female-centric, and just really providing more access to people and trying to create more routes for them to find their way in this crazy world we're living in.
You talk about how much you love performing comedy, which is quite the high wire act. Who are your influences in comedy?
Oh gosh, well, definitely Lucille Ball. Um, I think that she's absolutely incredible. Also, I have to be honest, I'm really obsessed with Jennifer Aniston. I think that everything that she does is incredible, and I've loved watching the morning show recently.
You certainly named 2 of my favorites also. What talents they are.
Yes, and my favorite thing about both Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon is that they're both really incredible producers. And that's really the career path that I'm following, and I think at an early age, I knew I loved comedy because I loved making people laugh. I'm a people person, and I love when I can just make someone have a reaction to the work that I'm doing. But I had no idea at that time that I also wanted to be a producer. So to have some of my earliest role models also be following a similar path with having their own production companies is something that's really inspirational to me.
I read in your bio that you're concentrating on telling stories that motivate, validate, and allow women to be heard. I'm so on board with your mission.
You're my kind of guy. Thank you for saying that. I think that that takes a lot of humility to be able to say. And yeah, there's a lot of really great men out there too. I think that just exactly what you're saying, it's really important right now to just try to elevate the voices that haven't been heard before.
Someone who's kind, someone who's engaging, work there. You're going to be amazed.
Absolutely. And I think kindness, it can go so far in such little ways. Holding the door for somebody, telling someone that they should have a nice day. There's so many little ways that we can just be kind to one another that go the difference. Living in New York now, it's been quite different from living in LA. And I feel like I'm constantly interacting with people now. So you constantly have the opportunity to be kind. And I think that that's really important. I honestly was ready to give up acting before I went to the British American Dramatic Academy. I had been feeling like the rejection is too tough, like this is going to be too hard on my mental health. But by going there, I felt really re-inspired by it. And that was really what made me make the decision to pursue acting professionally. I really think persistence is the key to life. And I'm definitely somebody who I feel like I'm a second chance person. I may not get something on the first try, but I'll get it figured out by the second try. I learn from my lessons a lot. And yeah, so I think that's really important. And then, the other thing about it, I think, is just being willing to know when you're wrong and being willing to learn from that. I'm constantly learning from other people. And I think like in the development process, like there's so many things that I'm learning that I didn't know before and how to get a feature greenlit. But just by being open and willing to listen to other people and take in their opinions is something that I'm constantly getting better at every day. Yeah, and I think that like with there being so many different opportunities and ways to break through right now, like that's the best news for people who are starting out is that there are so many different platforms at this point. I'm actually about to start pre-production on a feature at the end of the month that I'm very excited. It's going to be shooting in upstate New York. So I'm excited to get started on that. I have 95 pages of dialogue to memorize. So that's sort of taking up the majority of my time. And I'm thinking a lot about who is she? Who is she in terms of what's her favorite color? But more deeply than that, like what are her values? What's important to her? What does she wear? How does she walk? What does she like? I'm writing down every descriptor that I can find out about her in the script. She's a fellow Pennsylvanian like myself. So also just, understanding her background, what her family means to her, what her friends mean to her. And I'm doing sort of all of that preparation because, this is a character that runs for office and that takes a lot of courage. So I'm not even sure that that's something that I would ever personally take on. So I'm also having to develop the courage that my character has. But I'm coming back to Los Angeles next week, which I'm very excited about. And, it's just great that we can get back to work now, which I feel like I'm just so grateful that the negotiations committee really negotiated for a proper deal for us because I was getting a little bit worried that we were going to, sacrifice some of the AI stuff. A lot of my friends are not people who work in the industry. And for them, AI has been making their life so much better, right? It's so much easier for them. They can find whatever information they want. They can create a new headshot for themselves using AI. So I see how they all are really seeing the value in it. But for me, as a SAG-AFTRA member, as an actor, it's terrifying, right? Because you can see how your job can be taken away so easily, or your voice can be recreated for something that you're not getting paid a day's work for. So at least I think in the creative industry, we're not ready for it. And I don't think that we're ready for the threat of AI. I don't think that there's the necessary precautions set so that people can still thrive in this career path and can still make a living from this career path. I don't want to see background actors or voiceover actors lose their jobs because of this.
So what else have you got going on?
I have a podcast actually called Damsels in the DMs. And I think that being able to interview people and hear so many different stories is such a special experience, you know? I really feel like I'm constantly learning from others by having these conversations. So I think that it's great that you're doing this, and it's such a wonderful way to amplify voices. Thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing. This is such a powerful message that you're sending, and I really appreciate the time.
Oh, it was my pleasure, Lauren, and thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation. We will see you next time. Imagine if you were able to watch your great-grandparents tell stories from their lives. What made them laugh? What moved them? How they responded to adversity and triumph? And what impacted their existence? That would be a treasure. Now you can offer that gift to your loved ones. Hello, I'm Dennis Tardan. For more than 45 years, I've been a professional interviewer documenting the lives and times of hundreds of people. I will guide you or your family member through the important stories of your lives using my unique interviewing skills. I'm now offering my legacy interviews worldwide via Zoom from the comfort of you or your loved one's own home. All you need is a webcam, and I will do the rest. Contact me today to schedule your legacy interview.